Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this problem, which is very similar to your week 3 assignment. It says that Catskills Hammock Company can obtain at most 2,000 yards of striped canvas for making its full-size and chair-size hammocks. A full-size hammock requires 10 yards of canvas. Let's underline that. And the chair size requires 5 yards of canvas. So we have a bunch of canvas, so just to kind of help us visualize, we have all this canvas, and we're going to split it up into pieces, and the full-size canvas pieces are 10 yards, so they're bigger than the chair size pieces, which would be, so let's just say these are smaller to make chairs. Now I know you have to cut straight lines, but you get the idea. And then this bigger size, you would use it to make the full size hammocks. So you have 2,000 yards of total striped canvas. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we need to define what letters we're going to use for the different kinds of hammocks. So let's say we want to use F. F is going to represent the number of full-size hammocks. So F is the number of full-size hammocks. Okay, and then for the chair size, what letter would you like to use? Well, let's use C, right? So C is the number of chair size hammocks. Okay, so what we need to do next is we need to set up an inequality that describes the different possibilities that we can have with our 2,000 yards of canvas. So let's think about this for a minute. If I know that it takes 10 yards of canvas to make one full-size hammock, and if I have F full-size hammocks, how many yards would that use? So for example, if I make one full-size hammock, then I would need, of course, 10 yards of canvas. If I have two full-size hammocks, if I'm going to make two full-size hammocks, I would need 20 yards of canvas, right? 10 for the first, 10 for the second, so that's a total of 20. So let's say I want to make 5 full-size hammocks. How many yards of canvas would I need then? Well, it would be 50, right? Because it would be 5 times 10. So 5 hammocks times 10 yards for each hammock would be 50 yards of canvas. So this variable F represents the number of full-size hammocks, but since I don't know exactly how many I'm going to make, I'm going to say, well, it's going to be 10 yards times the number of hammocks that I am going to make. This way, if I make one hammock, then I would use 10 yards. If I make 5 hammocks, I would use 50 yards. If I make 10 hammocks, I would use 100 yards. So I hope that makes sense. Now for the chair size hammocks, because it's 5 yards of canvas each one, then that would be 5C. Because however many chair hammocks you make, you multiply that times 5 because it's 5 yards per chair hammock. Now, why am I adding them? Well, because you're going to use your 2,000 yards of canvas to make full-size hammocks and chair-size hammocks. Now, you want the total of those two to be less than or equal to 2,000 yards of canvas because that's all you have. right? So if you add the number of yards so this is the number of yards used for full size hammocks, and then this 5C, that's the number of yards used for chair hammocks. The sum of those two has to be less than or equal to 2,000. Okay, so that is my inequality right there. 10F plus 5C is less than or equal to 2,000. Okay, now we need to graph this. So I'm going to scroll down here. Now, how do I graph this? Well, let's first plot our horizontal axis and then our vertical axis. And let's put F on the horizontal axis, and then let's put C on the vertical axis. Now, the easiest way to graph this inequality is by finding the intercepts. And so let's do that over here on the side. Okay, so you find the intercepts by plugging in 0 for the other. So for example, to find the F-intercept, the point where my graph crosses the F-axis right here, we'll notice that C is equal to 0 along this whole axis right here. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set C equal to 0 and plug it into my inequality. So what does that mean? Well, I would have 10F plus 5 times 0 is equal to 2,000. Now I'm going to deal with the inequality later. So for now, we're going to use the equality. Now 5 times 0 is just 0. So then that means that 10F is equal to 2,000. And then if I divide both sides by 10, then I would get that F is equal to 2,000 over 10, which is 200. Okay, so that gives me my my F-intercept, which is the point where F is equal to 200 and C is equal to 0. So let's say that would be right here. So this is F equals 200, C equals 20. Now to find the C-intercept, I'm going to do the same thing. Let's divide this here. To find the C-intercept, I'm going to set the opposite, which is F equal to 0, and solve. So then I would get 10 times 0 plus 5C equals to 2,000. And then notice that this is 10 times 0 is 0. And so then if I divide both sides by 5, I would get that C is equal to 2,000 over 5, which is 400. Okay, so then my C-intercept is the point 0, F equals 0, and C equals to 400. Okay, so if I plot that, let's just say it's right there. That's 400. Okay, so now using that, I can plot my line. So this is the line 10F plus 5C equals to 2,000 would be connecting these 2 points. So I'm going to try my best to draw a straight line. You ready? Set, go. Oh, that's not a very good straight line. Let me try again. It's hard here with my computer. Okay, that's not too bad. See? Okay, so that's the line 10F plus 5C equals to 2,000. Now, since I want where 10F plus 5C is less than or equal to 2,000, well, that means that this is going to be this shaded area right here. That's less than 2,000. So this describes all the different combinations that I can of full size and chair size hammocks that I can make. As long as I'm inside of this shaded area, I'll be able to make those hammocks and full size hammocks and chair size hammocks. Okay, now, so let's consider some points here. Let me go ahead and erase some of this so that I can use this space, and I don't want to get rid of my graph here. So let's consider a point. Hold on here. Let's consider the point 105, comma 175. Sorry. Okay, so remember the first component here represents F. The second component represents C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug those into my inequality. So 10 times 105 plus 5 times 175. And you want to ask yourself, well, is that less than or equal to 2,000? So what does that equal to? That equals to 1,925. Now notice that that is less than or equal to 2,000. And since I have 2,000 yards of canvas, this means that I would have 75 yards left over. So what this looks like is that means that it would be inside of this shaded area. Let's just say right about there, right? So 105 and then 175. That's inside of the shaded area. And that means that I would be able to build 105 full-size hammocks and 175 chair-size hammocks. Now, let's consider another point. Let's consider the point 150. So 150 full-size hammocks and 125 chair-size hammocks. Now, if I plug those inside of the inequality, I would get 10 times 150 plus 5 times 125. This would be 2,125. Well, what does that mean? Well, notice that is 2,125 is not less than or equal to 2,000. It's greater than or equal to. It's greater than 2,000. Greater than or equal to it would also be true. So anyways, the point is that I would need 125 more yards of canvas. So what does this look like on my graph? Well, that's outside of the shaded area. So it would be, you know, somewhere around here roughly, let's just say, at 150 F and 125 for C. So here you cannot build this many 150 full size and 125 chair size hammocks. So this is not possible. You would not be able to fill this order. Okay, let's do one last one here. Let's do 75, comma 250. So this would be 75 full size and 250 chair size hammocks. So if I plug those in, I would get 75 times 10 plus, I wrote those backwards, didn't I? But oh well. 5 times 250. This would equal to exactly 2,000. So what does that mean? That means that you would be able to fill this order, but you wouldn't be able to make any mistakes whatsoever. So you're right on the line. So you're about here. That's about 10. No, sorry, not 10. We meant 75, right? 75 for F, and then 250. So let's just say roughly right about there, right on the line. Right there is 250. So as long as you don't make any mistakes, that would be a yes. And so that's how this inequality works, and that's how the graph is. So I hope this helps you complete your assignment.